This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Monday, October the 29th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, Prime Minister Mottley is on a mission to discuss with her counterparts ways of boosting the regional integration movement. Mottley informed her Barbados Labour Party's annual conference at the Lodge School yesterday that she will be going to Haiti today to hold talks with that country's government leaders. The Prime Minister, who has lead responsibility for the Caribbean single market and economy, will discuss Haiti's full integration in the CSME. She will also be heading to Trinidad and Tobago early next month.
And we go to Trinidad on the 3rd and 4th of November to be able to have the fullest and frankest discussion on that aspect of regional integration which concerns us most, the CARICOM single market and single economy. Because I think, like many, and before even the Golden Report was filed, we recognize that there needs to be energy, because this is not an exercise for academic discourse in government, but this is a movement that ordinary people in the Caribbean require of us to ensure that they can access the best economic opportunities, whether in terms of physical movement or in terms of the movement of their investments across the Caribbean.
Meanwhile, the former Minister of Finance in Jamaica, Dr. Peter Phillips, has lauded the Mottley-led administration for what he termed biting the bullet and taking charge of the fiscal accounts of this country. Phillips, who is Jamaica's opposition leader, told the BLP's annual conference that it was critical for the government to take the tough decisions up front.
If you take the hard decisions early, if you stay the course, if you sustain your patience and your courage, you will achieve success. This is not a task for the faint-hearted, nor is it a task for the impatient. But I would say that with honesty and forthrightness and willingness to take the people into your confidence at every step of the way, they will walk with you and understand.
Phillips, who was Minister of Finance when his country engaged the International Monetary Fund, also cautioned the Barbados government against losing focus if all of the promises of the assistance from the international community are not fulfilled.
When we took on the battle, there were many promises made by elements in the international community of resources that would flow. But as they say in the good book, promises comfort. What is it? Give God thanks for the promises, but understand, if the promises are not fulfilled, don't let that cause you to waver in your determination to reach the end point of your objectives.
In sports now, the combined campuses and colleges Marooners created history last night by winning their first ever regional limited overs tournament during the finals at Kensington Oval here in Barbados. Now the Marooners, led by Carlos Brathwaite, Barbados and West Indies all-rounder, convincingly beat the Guyana Jaguars by 6 wickets. The Jaguars batted first and made 204 in 49.1 overs, but were overhauled by the Marooners, who scored 205 for 4 in reply.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Trinidad and Tobago has been hit by its 7th earthquake in the last week. The quake, measuring 4.1 magnitude, was felt in the towns of Arima and Diego Martin yesterday morning. The Seismic Center at the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus said the tremor was also felt in Grenada. And on the international scene, far-right lawmaker Jair Bolsonaro won Brazil's presidential election last night, riding a wave of frustration over corruption and crime that brought a dramatic swing to the right in the world's 4th largest democracy. With 94% of ballots counted, Bolsonaro had 56% of the votes in the runoff election against left-wing hopeful Fernanda Haddad of the Workers' Party, who had 44%. We pick up the story in this Reuters report.
Jair Bolsonaro, Brazil's right-wing populist candidate sometimes likened to Donald Trump, winning the presidency Sunday night in that country's most polarizing election in decades.
Bolsonaro!
Considered the frontrunner in the race, his victory marking a dramatic swing to the right in the world's 4th largest democracy. Bolsonaro's sudden rise propelled by the rejection of the leftist Workers' Party and comes in the midst of the country's worst recession and political graft scandal. Leftist rival Fernando Haddad, standing in for jailed Workers' Party founder and former Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, had been trailing Bolsonaro since the first-round vote 3 weeks ago. But polls show the gap had narrowed in recent days. Many Brazilians are concerned that Bolsonaro, a fan of the military dictatorship that ruled Brazil from the mid-1960s to the mid-80s, will trample on human rights, curtail civil liberties, and muzzle freedom of speech.
And that's news and sports, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. Now, we are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.